Hello, everyone, and welcome to the June 17, 2021 Arts and Culture Commission meeting. Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Yank is absent today. Commissioner Vyar. Commissioner Vyar.
Here.
Commissioner Vidor.
Here.
Commissioner Zadorian.
Here.
Chairperson Tufenkian.
Here.
Agenda item 1, regular business agenda A, report of recorder reposting of the agenda. The agenda for the June 17th, 2021 regular meeting was posted on June 10th, 2021 on the bulletin board outside of City Hall. Agenda item 2, consent items. A, approval of the regular meeting minutes from May 20, 2021.
I have a comment. I have a correction.
Commissioner Vyar, was that you?
Yes, I have a correction to the minutes. Number 5A, the public hearing. I'm recorded as voting aye on that on that motion, and I was not there. I was absent. I was recused from that vote, from that hearing.
Thank you for the edit, Commissioner Vyar. We will make sure to notate that in the amended minutes.
Thank you.
I have a comment as well.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Hello? Oh, okay. On the item 2B, comments from commissioners, I just wanted to clarify a couple of things. One, the first, excuse me, the first one is very picky, but just to make sure we're all on the same page. I did not ask for the elaboration of the mural definition to be in an addenda, which would have been at the back of the thing. I would think it should be front and center right at the beginning of the ordinance. And what I actually said was this, that the definition of mural should be expanded to include all surfaces in the built environment that could potentially hold a mural, such as streets, roofs, walls, sidewalks, public utilities, etc. So my comment was to broaden it out to the widest possible definition. And I'm happy to just shoot you an email on that.
Thank you. We will make sure to amend that in the minutes.
Any other changes or additions? Okay, and do we have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes as amended.
Second, Commissioner Vyar.
Thank you. We'll do roll call. Commissioners Vyar.
Yes.
Vidor.
Yes.
Zadorian.
Abstain.
Chairperson Tufenkian.
Yes.
Agenda item 3A, Library Arts and Culture Events Report. Let me pull that up here. Okay, happy Pride Month. Celebrate Jewel City Pride by showing your pride with bracelets and stickers from Glendale Out, available while supplies last at the Glendale Central Library Children's Desk. In GLAC's work to document local history, we recognize that we are missing vital stories and records from our LGBTQIA+ community members. As a step towards filling these silences in the historical record, we have launched a project to collect stories on what community means to the LGBTQIA+ folks in Glendale. Using the BiblioBoard platform, we will accept submissions in various formats: images, audio, and video files, artwork, prose and poetry, and other written accounts. We are calling for these submissions in order to document Glendale's unique LGBTQIA+ culture and history to help inspire diversity, inclusion, and create a sense of community that has not only been publicly visible for past several decades. For more information, please visit the link on the screen. As part of the Be the Change series on Wednesday, June 23rd at 6:30 p.m., join award-winning journalist and author Meredith Toluson will discuss her critically acclaimed memoir book, Fairest, which is a memoir about a precocious boy with albinism, a son child from the rural Philippine village who would grow up to become a woman in America. Fairest is available for checkout from the library or as an ebook through Cloud Library. Fairest is also available for purchase from our partner, Once Upon a Time bookstore. And for more information, you can visit the link on the screen. Looking for a fun summer activity to complete at home? Pick up a different activity kit each week at Glendale Central Library, Brand Library, or Montrose Library, available while supplies last. This week is the Pride Fan with distribution from June 14th to 19th. Show your pride by creating a unique rainbow fan. In addition to activity kits, celebrate Pride Month with Pickle the Drag Queen Story Hour on Saturday, June 26th at 11 a.m. She will share stories celebrating pride in oneself, creativity, reading, and community in this special family event. And lastly, calling all artists from preschool to grade 8, celebrate the Summer Reading Challenge by designing a bookmark that reflects this year's theme, Reading Colors Your World. The deadline to submit is June 30, and you can visit the link for more information. The Brand Associates Dance Series presents top dance companies from Southern California performing site-specific work in non-traditional performance spaces around Brand Library. The series began in the 1960s as part of the Brand Library and Art Center's mission to promote all aspects of art. This year, the dance series performance will be streamed on the Brand Associates YouTube channel on Saturdays and Sundays, and workshops will be held online on Sundays at 11 a.m. Performances run between 60 to 90 minutes without intermission, and for more information, you can visit the link on the screen. And that is the library report.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Okay. I will go to agenda item 4, oral communications. It appears as though we do not have any today.
Good.
Okay,
And moving ahead.
sure. Agenda item 5A. Report on the Cultural Equity and Inclusion Plan. The motion is recommending that the Director of Library Arts and Culture enter into a professional services agreement in an amount not to exceed $20,000 from the 2021-2022 work plan with the Aspire Group, a cultural equity and inclusion consultant to research and analyze the external and internal cultural programming of Glendale Library Arts and Culture and the Arts and Culture Commission through a lens of cultural equity and inclusion. 2, establish a cultural equity and inclusion plan which guides all culturally specific work of GLAC and ACC, including but not limited to calls for artists, RFPs, RFQs, IDEA programming, etc. And 3, train GLAC staff and ACC in best practices in facilitating conversations focused on cultural equity and inclusion, specifically in regards to working externally with community stakeholders and patrons. Jennifer Fukutomi-Jones, Arts and Culture Administrator. During the February 4th special meeting of the Arts and Culture Commission, the Commission directed staff to research potential cultural equity and inclusion consultants. Staff had done the research and made a connection with the Aspire Group, which is a prominent cultural equity and inclusion consultant. Staff went with them in April 2021 to discuss the scope of work that was aforementioned. And we are recommending that the Commission move forward with the motion that was stated as prior.
Thank you. And we've got their resume as well and different organizations that they've served. I'd like to open it up to my fellow commissioners to see if they have any questions or comments. Commissioner Vyar?
Thank you, Chair Stefankian. I think this is very much in keeping with the prevailing attitude and sort of quest of a lot of entities in the city. And I think this is a really wise step to take. Thank you.
Thank you. And Commissioner Vidor, any questions or comments?
A question. Yes, I agree that this organization, having had a chance to glance at their website and just look at some of the things they've done, they seem very, very qualified to take this on. So good choice. And thank you for the work you've done here. I do have a question regarding, I know that the desire to do this came out of some of the calls that we put forward and some of the reactions to the verbiage in the calls. And so I understand how this applies to that. And I was wondering how, if in any way, this will impact or apply to what we're doing with La Basse.
Commissioner Vidar, I think that's a great question, and I think it's in tandem work, and will absolutely connect to the work that we're doing, specifically in regards to the artists that would be chosen for these projects. But Director Schaefer, is there anything else to include or add?
Apologies, I was trying to communicate with GTV6. Gary Schaefer, Director, Library Arts and Culture. Absolutely. One, we specifically wrote diversity, equity, and inclusion into the LABAS, the RFP that LABAS responded to. They are looking at diverse artists, but as things are developed, through the Aspire group, we would look to them to inform the work of LABAS. The only issue I foresee is that they're in some ways working in tandem, so at the same time. And so that could present a challenge, but I do want to assure the commissioners that we are specifically looking at a broad range. We will be looking at a broad range of diverse artists as we go forward with the LABAS project. Thank you. And just wanted to communicate with GTV6 to make sure that we're getting the slide presentations on the screen. So working on that in the background. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Zadorian, any comments, questions?
I do not have any comments or questions. I'm just looking forward to moving forward with this and getting things done.
Thank you. I do have a couple of questions. I wanted to see what the time period would be, how long this would take, and then also, do we know what the process would be for the research and analyzing the external and internal cultural programming? So,
Thank you, Chair Tufinkian. That's a great question. At the moment, the timeline is approximately 6 months, so we're hoping to have them start sometime in July, ideally, and they would complete work by the end of 2020, December. Within the research and analysis aspect, they are going to be reviewing all of the programming that GLAC has done and ACC has done, so we're providing all of that background information to them, our RFPs, our call for artists, all of that information, so they'll do really a deep dive into what we've been doing thus far and then provide recommendations based on that.
would they be reaching out to any local cultural organizations or?
Possibly. It would really depend on the recommendations that they provide when doing the initial review and analysis. They might recommend reaching out to local organizations, and at that time we can provide recommendations if they reach out to.
Okay. Thank you. I think it's very timely and very important work, so thank you. And would it be a motion? Do we have a motion to move this?
I don't have the direct motion from me, but I will go ahead and make a motion to enter into a professional service agreement in amount not to exceed $20,000 from the 2021-2022 work plan with the Aspire Group, a cultural equity and inclusion consultant, to do the following stated items.
Thank you.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
I'll second that, Commissioner Vire.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will do roll call. Commissioners Vyar,
Yes.
Vidor,
Yes.
Zadorian,
Yes.
Chairperson Tufankian.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 6A, 2021 6-month work plan progress updates. In regards to citywide arts, the Art Happens Anywhere program, as of today, really June 4th or today, 8 out of the 17 Art Happens Anywhere projects have been successfully launched. Staff is still in the process of working with the artists to facilitate the launch of their projects. We are also working with the muralist, Ayumi Chisholm, who we approved his mural last month, to ideally have his mural installed sometime in August. So we'll make sure to update you as we receive more information on the projects. For LABAS projects, they are currently in the process of developing draft language for RFQs for public art based on the conversation that we had at the May 20th meeting. They will be releasing the RFQ, and applications can be submitted on a platform called Submittable. And we will make sure to keep the commission apprised as soon as we receive the draft language and the process for the RFQs. So that is the last project update. Mural ordinance update. Staff also met with Sarah Odenkirk to discuss the current status of the mural approval process and procedures for Glendale. So Ms. Odenkirk is currently reviewing Municipal Code 3047 to review all the processes that are currently in place, and will be able to provide recommendations for next steps at the July meeting. So we'll make sure to keep you apprised of that. And lastly, the Beyond the Box application is going to open at the end of June, specifically on June 28th. This year's theme is going to be celebrating our people with disabilities community, and that application deadline is August 6th. So we will make sure to share that with you once the application is released. And those are all of the updates that we have for the work plan.
Thank you. Okay, so we went through 4 different points, so let's see if we've got any comments or questions. Maybe we'll start with the first 2, Art Happens Anywhere and La Basse. Commissioner Bayard, any comments on either one of those?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Vidor?
Yeah, I have one on each. On Art Happens Anywhere, I know you've got a large queue, and it's a real challenge to get through all these, and the devil is often in the details. And I was wondering, I just would like your thoughts, and maybe this has to be agendized and it can't be discussed because it may qualify as a separate agenda item, but in terms of the coordination between library, arts, and culture and the other departments that have to do things in order for us to put these public art things in, like, for instance, creating a power source, sinking poles in the ground, et cetera, et cetera. I know there were, during the pandemic, some delays with a couple projects related to public works, and no fault of anybody's, just, the coordination, especially during those difficult times, has proven to be a challenge. But how do you see this unfolding with respect to the types of procedures we have to put in place to, involve all of the different departments that need to cooperate with us? I guess that's my kind of a question.
Yeah, absolutely, Commissioner Vidor. Thank you for that. We are, with Art Happens Anywhere, I will say I am in the process of learning and building the plane as we go. So a lot of these processes and procedures have not been documented. So I believe it was you had recommended quite a while ago to develop a set of processes and procedures. It just hasn't, gotten to the top of my to-do list, but I'm definitely wanting to make sure to document the processes so that in the future, when we do these programs, we know exactly the process in which to achieve these
right. And I'm totally sympathetic and empathetic to the challenge of you can't change a tire while you're going 1,000 miles an hour. So it's understood that, this isn't going to happen immediately, but, do you feel like you have the wherewithal to capture some of the, aha moments that you're, no pun intended with Art Happens Anywhere, moments that you're having with respect to what needs to be done? Because, I know that that is going to be a pretty significant task. So, if there's anything we can do or to support you, I don't know what that would be, but, I know that that's a tremendous challenge. My second one was La Basse, when they gave their report last time, they said they were going to share their PDF with all of us commissioners, that, now that it's been made public, that we could have copies of it. And I wondered if we could get that.
Absolutely.
document.
Absolutely. I will make sure to send that to you as soon as we end the meeting today. Definitely. I will make sure to email it all to you.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Jennifer.
Commissioner Zadorian?
I do not have any questions or comments on those 2 updates.
Okay, so we'll go on to the third and fourth points, mural ordinance and Beyond the Box. Commissioner Bayard, any questions on those?
No, thank you.
And Commissioner Vidor?
I'm good, thank you.
And Commissioner Zadorian?
I'm also good. I just want to double check for the Beyond the Box. Who was on that committee? Jennifer, if you remember off the top of your head.
That is a great question. I believe Commissioner Vyar was on it. Was it?
Okay.
Was it you,
And
Chair
Commissioner
Kaczynski?
Vidor.
I can't remember.
Okay.
I
And they'll
guess
be
we'll know
meeting
when
some.
the time comes.
I know that last year it was Commissioner Vidor and Commissioner Vyar, and I think
Yeah.
Commissioner Vyar joined again this year. I can't remember off the
Yeah,
top of my
I
head.
think I'm on Art Happens Anywhere when it would be
That's right.
established, but not on Beyond the Box.
Right. I remember that.
Let us know after the meeting if possible, if it's one of us, because I'm trying to remember if it was me or not. So I apologize if it is. And how long after the application closes will they be meeting to discuss?
Usually we try to meet within 2 weeks or so after the application is after the applications are received. So it'll be sometime in mid-August, I anticipate.
Oh, okay. And those are my only questions for today.
And just for timeline wise, since we're talking about it, we're pushing the timeline up a little further this year, and so that on staff we have more time to prepare. So the applications would be reviewed sometime in mid-August. We would come to the commission and share the finalists with you all, and then in October, mid-October would be when we paint the boxes, which is the same as we've done in the past.
Okay.
Sounds good, thank you. No questions on my behalf either. Just wanted to also say that for the storefront we discussed, there's nothing new to report, and for the Plaza series, we're also standing in the same point. So that's it for that section. So moving ahead.
Okay. Agenda item 6B, marketing and communications for arts and culture projects in Glendale. And I believe this was agendized by Chair Tufenkian as an item to discuss with the commission.
Yes. So what are there any, have we even looked at that yet? I know you're so busy. I don't know if you've had a chance to.
I have not had a chance to look at that. It was mainly as a discussion item to bring with to the commission in the sense
Okay.
of, do you all have recommendations for steps to
Got
move
it.
forward with?
Okay. So my suggestion would be possibly to do something with our, definitely on our website, but then also something that would connect all the different art organizations that we have in Glendale together. So it would be everybody's events that would be funneled through that calendar.
Okay.
Commissioner Vyar, any questions, additions, comments, suggestions?
It would be wonderful if there were a common calendar. I mean, it would, for a lot of reasons. It would certainly facilitate scheduling, make that a lot easier. And what were you thinking for the marketing? The communications, I assume, would be a calendar that would be accessed on websites. But what was the marketing piece again?
It was a discussion topic, an agenda item that had been recommended by Chair Tufenkian, but it was more making sure that our programs are being promoted and that people know about what's happening. For example, we have all of
I
these
see.
wonderful Art Happens Anywhere programs, and making sure that the larger LA County and broader community knows more about it.
And yes, thank you, Commissioner Vyar. I think it's definitely a two-part thing that has to happen. It's both having the calendar, and then it's also, broadcasting it to the wider public, and basically, I would say all of Southern California. Because we have a lot of great things that happen, so we want to.
I think that if you can consider the reach, how far reaching our social media is. I don't know how wide a net we cast that way, and I'm not adept at that particular way, that method of marketing, but I agree that we need to be more visible. The events need to be definitely made more visible to the public.
Thank you. Any suggestions, Commissioner Vidor?
Well, I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about it, unfortunately, I confess, but I did look on Instagram. I think Library Arts and Culture's Instagram feed looks really good. Like you have followers and you're hitting everything, getting publicity out there, and on social media, I guess that, and now everybody's using TikTok, and I don't know whether that's relevant to us or not, or what other social media you're using, but the more the merrier, I guess. I'm not. I wouldn't expect us to be doing any active marketing on other non-public art, library arts and culture events. I mean, there might be a master calendar, but which would be nice. A one-stop shop for everything going on in Glendale. But in terms of marketing, library arts and culture, urban art program events, and things like that, it seems like the point about us getting to a very wide audience is important. Like, one of the things I always think about is Reckoning, which was such a powerful and important work of art in and of itself. That's the thing that Reflect Space did. And that this is something that the entire greater Los Angeles area should know about, because, Glendale's whole reputation over the years has ridden on some of the things that, unfortunate things in our past. And I wonder, for instance, in regard to that particular work of art, how broad the publicity was and how many people we drew in for that. And I'm not saying that's the only thing, but that's one that really stands out in my mind as being incredibly important to the whole area to see and understand that and get a view on that, since Glendale is changing so much, and that reflects our changing attitudes about ourselves. So how broad was the reach on something like that, and can we repeat that? So that's just thinking out loud. I mean, did the whole greater LA area get news of that particular event?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Gary Schaefer again, Director of Library Arts and Culture. So in fact, I'm glad Commissioner Vidor brought up that particular exhibition, because we, put press releases out there, and it actually got picked up by, I will say, I'm not going to, a few news outlets. I mean, it got picked up by a major television station. It got picked up by Spectrum News, which is the major cable provider for all of Los Angeles area, and they ran a pretty long story on that. So we did actually have a great deal of media on that particular exhibit. But I think we definitely, I'm glad you've, Chair Tefankian, have divided this up, because I think there are two ways to tackle it. There is certainly a calendar, which even Jennifer and I were speaking of today. So we were strategizing a way to go about that. And then from a marketing perspective, because I think your main concern, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is, we're doing these great exhibits, and we also have a goal of Glendale being known as an arts destination. So getting news of what we're doing out there. I mean, the challenge always is you're competing for, with 10,000 consumer messages that you see every day. There's so many different ways for people to watch media now. So being on a news station doesn't necessarily get in front of everyone. And so I definitely think it's something that we should investigate, potentially even hiring a firm, or that might be a sole proprietor firm who does marketing for us, because we're spending this money and we want people to know what we're doing. So I think that's something we can definitely investigate. I think the question for the commission is, that's something in the queue. What's the priority? Should we put the Aspire group work on the back burner and tackle this? Or should we put the storefront program on the back burner and tackle this? Or can we leave this in the queue and work towards it? And so really it being like the next RFP that we work on. So I think that's the direction we would look for from the commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Schaefer. My personal opinion would be that what Aspire is doing is very important, so I think that's something that we cannot put on the back burner. I would definitely want to see the calendar and the press release or the marketing of what we're doing to be forefront right after that. So that would be my personal opinion. And I think Commissioner Zadorian might have been next.
Thank you. I think we've been talking about this since I've been on the commission, about having a calendar, one with all our events, but also other arts events in Glendale, which not only reaches Glendale public, but just everybody. So I think that is very important to get viewership and more people following. Looking at the Instagram, I think we're doing a really good job of this whole month-to-month themes. I think that's covered really well on our social media, but if we're saying that we're going to need to get a group or a consultant involved for marketing, is it possible to hire somebody for marketing part-time? I know Glendale, the city of Glendale, has marketing individuals who have been hired to do these things for economic development for the city of Glendale and whatnot. So are they able to help us? Because definitely we need more coverage. We need somebody who's on the side doing the legwork of, contacting news outlets, not just putting press releases out, but one by one calling people in their contacts and getting them to come to our events and cover them fully. And so I agree. I'm not sure exactly how this conversation happened the last month because I wasn't at that meeting, but I agree that we need to do much more marketing and whatnot. So as the conversation continues, we can add more to that. The more I think about it and ideas I come up with, I would be more than happy to send them to Jennifer or to Chairperson Tufenkian.
Thank you. Anything else that we want to add to this, or?
Yeah,
Yes.
I have a comment. I agree that Aspire is important and should remain in its priority in the storefront, and then the marketing enhancements should be put in the queue. And if we could hire a part-time person or, somebody who's working toward a degree or, an intern type thing for arts marketing to, under your direction, be able to implement some of the things that we'd like to do, like creating a calendar, that would be fantastic, but leave the priorities as they are now. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Vidor. Okay. And if I come up with suggestions and ideas, I'll definitely be forwarding them to you. So thank you. Thank you for opening up this conversation. And I think it will be a while until we develop it, but I think it's something important to have on the agenda.
Thank you for the direction.
All right.
Okay. Moving on to agenda item 7, commission staff comments.
Just a big thank you to you. Commissioner Bayar?
Yes, just thank you, Jennifer, for everything you do.
Commissioner Vidor?
No additional comments. Great job as usual in getting the meeting organized and getting all this material in front of us. Greatly appreciated. Thank you, Jennifer and Dr. Schaefer.
And Commissioner Zadorian?
I have no comment. Thank you to all as well.
Nothing else. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Okay. Agenda item 8, written communications, we have none. Agenda item 9 is adjournment.
Wow, that was a quick
Fastest
one.
meeting.
Very fast. Thank you, everybody.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone. Bye.